For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.
Welcome to the E.T. Stand Podcast, the only podcast that lives in a life of frustration just like you do. We're live on YouTube and audio and on delay on all good audio channels. I'm joined by Franco and Lats. Boys, thanks for not breaking up with me and the Sharks team. I guess we'll get into it. Got a bit more of a real talk show tonight, guys. So we haven't got the normal side panels. We're just going to talk about how bad things actually are at the Sharks and if we think we can recover. And that's why we're here with you guys. Get your comments and predictions in for the match. What do you think of the team at the moment? You can talk to us during the show using the comment section. You can also talk to us and other Sharks fans on the Discord channel, which was going absolutely off on the weekend. Goodness me. And some of our dear friends and co-hosts were all arguing with each other. I think we're just arguing, Lats, who was worse, the Sharks or the Sharks?
Mate, horrendous. If of all games you want to win throughout the year, two games come to mind, and that's the Dragons, both of them. We have a lot of Dragons mates, I guess you could say, if Dragons fans have mates. Look, just abysmal, lackluster, and just outright frustrating.
Yep, and that's just Franco's wife, Gretchen, talking about being married to Franco, who missed the debrief with me on Saturday. Sorry, Franco, I was right there.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll let it go through to the keeper.
Well, you are a keeper, Franco, so.
There we go. And it's also a bit of the theme of tonight is that despite how frustrating and annoying they are, Franco's wife ain't leaving Franco. Just like Franco's not leaving us, are you, Franco?
Well, I've got to define us, but I'm here. I'm here for the long haul.
All right. On tonight's show, we're going to give you some real talk about the Sharks. We're going to preview the Titans match, and we'll cover off anything else in NRL. I don't know about you, but I've found it almost impossible to look at any other NRL coverage since that match. So I guess we'll piece together what else is going around in the NRL. But first, we have got all of the Sharks news bundled up for you and presented by the one and only Scott Latino. The Sharks news is brought to you by Solve Accounting. Now, normally Solve Accounting, they sponsor the debrief, but the Sharks' performance was that bad and that annoying that Solve Accounting said that they didn't want to be part of the Sharks debrief. They said, some clients we just can't help. So if you go to Lats, he gives you what you need to know about the Sharks. But well, you can go to the Solve Accounting guys because they can let you know anything you need to know about tax and bookkeeping and all that sort of fun stuff. Without further ado, Lats, what's making Sharks news?
Alrighty, fans are outraged with the 4-match ban handed down to Brit Nikora for a high shot on Dragons centre Corey Allen in the dying stages of last Saturday's local derby debacle. They liken the tackle to that of Stephen Crichton's the week prior, which saw no charge registered. Given that Corey Allen was falling into the tackle, fans believe the contact was incidental and should have attracted a lower grading. They're also angry at the lack of footage of the incident both during and after the game. Given we have a bye in a couple of weeks, and with Nikora accepting the early plea of 3 weeks, he'll be ineligible to play for the remainder of the regular season and will be back for finals week 1 if we make it.
That was a brain explosion moment, wasn't it?
Was it bad though? Was it as bad as? Was it bad? Was it to cop 4 weeks? I didn't think much of it when I saw it. I saw it also. Sorry, I saw it also in replay when I rewatched the game when I got home, and it still didn't look bad.
It looked good. It looked like a hard, solid tackle where the ball carrier was flawed, and the referee has a knee-jerk reaction to blow a penalty. It may have fallen under the whiplash scenario that can sometimes be called now with forceful contact, bit of a silly rule, but that could have been it from my 2 looks at it. I didn't see any head contact. So I'm not sure how they got the 3 weeks, potentially 4 if guilty, but yeah, I'm not happy with it, and I thought the tackle looked okay, but that is with limited viewing. They've got all the different angles. They've got to give them the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately, in this scenario. But geez, it didn't look too bad from my angle.
When have the Sharks got to enter their play, Lats? What's the status on that?
They've taken the three games.
They've just
Early
taken
play.
it. Sharks never fight it.
Like we always do. We shouldn't have taken the Colquhoun one, but we did.
Oh well, we know the Sharks don't like to fight the charges.
Do we have the money for lawyers, Boldo? That's probably the question.
Well, Sonia's in the comments saying we need to pass the hat around. Is that to get us a lawyer, Sonia? No, it's to get the team some inspirational entertainment before the next game. Dancing inspires many things to rise. It may just be our boys too. And then SJD confirming for us. Apparently they use Britain's priors like a lottery ruling. Look, I'd say that's a massive blow normally, but Nikora has not been in the best of form, so maybe a stint on the sidelines will be good for him.
Alrighty, news broke this afternoon that Sharks centre Jesse Ramien will miss at least the rest of the regular season. Also, after suffering a broken thumb against the Merge over the weekend, Marween Haroti's been called up into the squad to replace him at right centre for Saturday's clash against the Titans. Jesse's expected to be out of action for 4 to 6 weeks.
Is he actually injured, Franco, or is he being dropped?
I reckon he has been injured. I don't think that's the kind of thing our coach would do. Not to announce a timeline like 4 to 6 weeks. If you're feigning injury to give them a rest and protect their ego, you'd just say something. They're out with an undisclosed injury or illness or something like that, which means that they could potentially come back next week. You wouldn't rule them out for a period of 4 to 6 weeks with that sort of scenario.
The club announced during the week that reliable utility forward Billy Burns had put pen to paper, extending his tenure with the club for a further 12 months through to the end of the 2026 season. This is welcomed unanimously across the socials by Sharkies fans. They've loved what they've seen from Billy this year. He's proved to be a very solid backup throughout the season, and the fans like it. So well in, Billy Burns, well deserved.
Except for that first hit up against the Dragons.
Except that one time.
I thought it was Jack Williams out there.
Look, he's been pretty solid all year, though, hasn't he, Billy? He's been thrown in here and there, and he's been pretty damn good.
Great.
Our Jersey Flegg squad scored an impressive 24-16 victory over the Penrith Panthers at Henson Park on Saturday. The boys went into the sheds locked up at 4-all with a second half double to Nikora Williams. Tries also to Nadenic, Lane Sietu and Sele, and a couple of conversions to Riley Pollard, proving too much for the Panthers. The boys now leapfrog Penrith into the second position. They go on to play the fourth place Eels at Kellyville Park at 1 p.m. this Saturday with a couple of rounds remaining of the regular season. The Newtown Jets went down to the Panthers 26 points to 16 at Henson Park last Saturday. Tries to Tapua, Gabriel Dixon, and a couple of conversions to Marween Haroti weren't enough to overcome Penrith. However, the boys still sit in outright fourth. They go on to play the third place Eels at Kellyville Park at 3 p.m. this Saturday after the Flegg match.
Yeah,
right photo?
It's a good one, isn't it? I think there's a photo of you very similar, Boldo, down at Shark Park when we were doing our promo shoot for the pod.
I thought that was you, but sure. What were you going to say, Franco?
I was just saying that game, our right edge was pretty woeful. Just Swiss cheese for Panthers to get through a few times there. So they need to shore that up a little bit moving forward.
So I'm surprised we haven't seen Tapua back into the squad. He seems to be doing a pretty good job there at Newtown the last couple of weeks. So don't be surprised to see him in the
Oh, keep your powder dry for the next section, buddy. Oof.
There you go, mate. Do we have sections? Our NRLW squad scored a commanding 20-6 victory over the Dragons at Jubilee Stadium on Saturday. Veron opened the scoring in the 4th minute, followed by doubles to Ravix and Staples. We failed to convert any of those tries and even had Anessa Biddle in the bin at 1 point during the first half. However, the girls were too strong. The win sees them now sit in 5th place, and they go on to play the 9th place Titans in this Saturday's Shire doubleheader at 12:45 p.m. at Shark Stadium prior to the boys' game. JC Watch. The Jaden Campbell rumours are still doing the rounds across the socials, and over the last couple of days, it's been announced that contract extension talks between Campbell and the Titans have hit a bit of a stalemate and have stalled. So watch this space.
So I want to bring up the next slide, lads.
Yes, of course you do.
Oh,
All across the
goodness
Sharks
me.
socials, Fitzy is starting to lose the fan group. They're not happy with his persistent lack of urge to change things up, and they want him replaced with someone who will uphold player accountability. I've seen Des Hasler's name thrown around quite a bit. I don't personally think that's the right fit myself. There are also plenty of others opposed to him taking over across the socials. Josh Hannay to head coach was also mentioned, which I don't think would be the right move either. We've seen it. He's filled in, and it didn't go too great. Fitzy did have some support, but it's wavering, and I'm sure we'll discuss it at length later in the show.
Don't think Josh Hannay is going to be the answer, Franco.
Nope. Been there, done that. No good.
I don't see how
Bring
Josh
back
Hannay.
Bomber.
I think Des Hasler, if we lost Fitzgibbon, given the current coaches now and our current predicament, may not be such a bad choice. I could get behind that.
No,
He's
that's
a bit
a
old
terrible
school,
idea.
which I don't mind it. He's old school and he will not take crap, but whether he has evolved with the game later in his coaching career, I don't know. But
Well, he seems to have not. He's not
He's
gone
on
well with
target
the
for a
Titans.
wooden spoon, and hasn't improved the team that he's got.
until this week.
So yeah, so we'll see. But look, he's not the right option, and technically he's still signed for next year as well, right? So all of these sorts of discussions are all hypothetical. But if he sticks around there, he's not available anyway.
All right, let's move on. Thanks for the Lats for that Sharks news. We're going to do a segment called Real Talk. So the Real Talk segment is brought to you by Morgans at Cronulla. If you're looking for real stockbroking advice, give the guys Charles and Powers a call. They're the boys down there, right behind where Jolly Rogers used to be, if you know the old Cronulla Mall. Let's get real talking about the Sharks, guys, and I'm going to set this up. I just don't think, and having reflected on my rant from the debrief on Saturday night, what is the Sharks' identity? What are they right now? Are we an attacking team with flair? Are we defence first team? Are we disciplined? Are we a field position and bomb team? Are we ruthless, machines, clinical? Do we suffocate teams like the Panthers? Are we bash brothers like Bird and Gallen? Are we an entertaining team like the West Tigers from 05? We just try to outscore in points. Like Chaos Merchants, what are we? And so I'm not sure what we are. What is this team? And so the question I'm kind of asking is what are we getting from the coach that's giving us an identity that's transcending down to the rest of the team? What I can tell you from some of the points, they're all negative about what our team is. Error-riddled, ill-disciplined, not that fit. If we can't find some sort of identity, what are we working towards becoming? What are we trying to do? So the question I ask here is, the current leadership, Franco, doesn't matter if we don't have an identity. What are we working towards? What's the Sharks' identity right now, Franco? I just don't get it.
Yeah, look, you're right. We don't have one. We've been the attacking flair in the past. We've been the grinders before the drag them down to your level. But look, I personally don't believe in identities. I think it's kind of a throwaway line that the media use to either push a narrative or pigeonhole teams if they veer too far away from that. If there is any narrative or identity we should be looking for or striving to achieve, I think it's that of the underdog. We should always be an us versus them mentality, the opposition, the media, the banks, whoever. Similar, I guess, to Queensland. It doesn't matter how well we're doing, we should always be the underdog. We know we're in a small little pocket of the world with a small fan base, with small funding, the little engine that could, whatever it takes to get the win. That should be our identity. If it means we need to go out and do an ambush and blow teams out of the park, or get down and dirty, then whatever it happens to be, don't try and build a thing of we need to be defensive team where we grind a win out, otherwise we're not us. Let's move away from that. Let's just be a team where we're circle the wagons, we stick up for one another. It's all about the Sharks, the team, and we do whatever we can to move forward as a group. I think that's what we should be looking to do. Any kind of attack or commentary on us, we just push it back, we ignore it, or use it as fuel. Don't feed it.
That's pretty tough not to feed it, though, with the social commentaries that you would have seen with your segment this week.
Yeah,
Fans?
look, mate, it's pretty hard not to react to the media. Look, I guess we do have that underdog label and have always had it from the media. We don't get a lot of praise in commentary, as we were talking about before the show, by certain commentators. We seem to, I don't know, Fitzy just seems to want to play this patient game, which every now and then we'll get over the line with it. I think we need to strip things back to basics and just play simple footy, and just work on errors and just get the simple things right. It's almost like, I think it was.
We're trying to do that, Lats, but they can't seem to do it.
Yeah, but then we're also trying to we're trying to be a bit of everything, I think, and I think it's just confusing us. I just want some consistency. And even if we lost, you want to see signs of this consistency. But at the moment, I don't know what direction we're heading. We're a very confusing footy team to watch and very frustrating to support.
Well, Franco, is that as bad as we think then?
No, we aren't as bad as we think, but we are getting worse. We're the most stable team currently over the past couple of years. We should be on the improve, both as a team and as individuals. However, it doesn't matter what metric you want to go off. We are going backwards. We're not improving in any manner, and whether that's just the sniff test, or whether that's something that that we can't see, it's very frustrating, because you look at, you mentioned it earlier, your errors, your meters gained, your field position on the ladder, it's all going backwards, right? But our in the press conferences, our coach is talking about certain metrics that he's looking for, and in a bad game, he says we did well because he saw that we've hit them, and in a good game, he says we did bad because we didn't hit them. Unpicking what it is he's looking for is probably a bit of a key to this answer, and also reflects on what Lats was talking about. But as it stands, it's very much an inner sanctum, cloak and dagger sort of scenario, where if they are targeting a certain objective, it's probably the wrong one, because, as I said, we're going backwards.
They're just Eric Town on the weekend, though, Lats.
It's inexcusable.
And it's
inexcusable.
But to be accused,
they're professional athletes.
To be accused of not trying the Dragons just looked like they wanted it more.
They did. Look at Gutho. Gutho was bloody a man
Who's
possessed.
Gutho? What does Gutho care about the Dragon Sharks rivalry?
Because he's got integrity.
He's bought in.
Mate, I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm just so annoyed. I'm so annoyed because we win these games that we shouldn't, and then we lose these games that we should totally dominate. And as Franco said, we're going backwards. We're not getting any better. In any of the key areas, we are not getting any better. We've been stale for a couple of years, but at an okay level, and we're dropping off. And I don't know what the answer is and where we're going to pull it from to get ahead.
Yeah, the attack's not good enough, Franco.
It's not. It's pretty putrid. We lack options. We lack direction. We lack structure. The first year that Fitzy came on board with Nicho. We were looking fantastic. There was a lot of off the cuff play. There was a lot of runarounds. There was also a bit of hangover from previous seasons with Moylan helping pull the strings. And with Moylan gone, we've steadily gone, cue the narrative, we've steadily gone backwards in terms of attacking. Now, that's not to say we aren't scoring points, because we are scoring points. If you look at it, we're getting a pretty good average per season in total scores. So we are getting there. We are getting across the line. We are scoring points. We're making it happen. But it's clunky. It's fortuitous. It's not something that
It's all crash plays.
It's not something that we're doing because we've made it happen. It's generally something because it was a bounce of the ball, or the opposition just didn't show up on the day. I couldn't remember the last time, especially in the opposition's 20, where we pulled a play that I've just gone, wow, took my hat off to that. That's a well-rehearsed play. Everyone knew where they were standing. Everyone knew where they were running, the lines, who was going to get the ball. There were multiple options available, that if the defense was rushing or if the defense was sliding, you pick a different choice and you still get over the line. Haven't seen that. I can't remember the last time that we've done one of those, and it's depressing.
When was the last time you heard Phil Gould mention the slingshot play or anything like that? There's just none of it. It's just Trindle kicking down to the left edge, or we're running it in close to the line. There's nothing flashy. We saw a few little flashy plays from Hynes, I think, against the Dolphins, but then that just seemed to go in the back pocket. Yeah,
simple draw and pass seems to have evaded us lately, right? There's been a few 3-on-2s.
They're not even backing the players up. Like, they can't even back up a break.
Yeah, correct. It's one of those things where we just aren't looking in the right direction for the opportunities that are presented to us. Against the Dragons, there were plenty of options available, with the Dragons at times looking all over the shop and disjointed in defence, and we just didn't know how to hit those holes. It was either something we tried to overcomplicate or took the wrong option. It was just really not where we needed to be. Our head wasn't in the game for scoring points. So we're confusing ourselves at times. We really need to change.
We just seem to have a lack of passion of late. We seem to have a lack of passion. And Boldo, you said it. Dragons wanted it more. These teams we're coming up against, they're passionate. They want the game more than we do. I don't know. Is it AFB? Has he come in and upset the apple cart? I don't know. Like you mentioned it in the Discord, Boldo. It's a conundrum that we need to get right soon, though, or we're going to we're not going to be able to attract players to the club. We're going to fall in a hole, and we're not going to be able to get out of it for a while.
All right, JFP in the comments says the weekend's loss felt different. Not sure they come back from that one. I think a big thing is the lack of leadership on the field. Still holding slim. Hope they pull it together. Leadership, Franco. Who leads this team?
It's a good question. It honestly depends on momentum, I feel. If we're on top and we're running riot, it's something where we've got Nicho chiming in and having a chat, where we've got Teague having a chat, a little bit of Cam. But if we're on the back foot and defensive, it seems to be someone like Ronnie who's barking at players and trying to get them to man up, or sometimes Brayley. There is no single voice of reason, I think, in our team at the moment. Cam is very much a follow my actions kind of player, which is fine. That can inspire just as well as words, but ultimately it does leave a vacuum of voice in our team. At least when Gal was the silent follow me, put Kate on my back type player, we had someone like Maloney or Ennis who was able to get the guys in a circle and lay down the law. We certainly are missing that. I wouldn't know if I'd put all the blame on that, but it's certainly missing.
I
All right,
can't
so
remember the
going back
last
to that,
time.
yeah.
Sorry, but I can't remember the last time I heard like anyone ask a question of the referee. Cam's a pretty quiet guy. He doesn't go at the referee. And you see these smart players like Munster and of the likes, and they're in the referee's ear the whole game. Even Harry Grant does it as well, and he's not even a captain. But
He
you
is
see
now.
Munster do it. Oh, he is now. But you see Munster do it, and it gets in the ear of the bunker and everything, and it can sway decisions. Like it make them look at things differently. And
Well, we don't have a
we don't have a
250
leader.
game player. We don't have a 250 game
True.
player. We've got a lot of 150 game players.
Yeah, true.
So when you look at that shape of that 2016 Sharks team, there were, 4 captains in that team? Maloney, Ennis, Lewis, Gallen, and Wade
Yeah.
Graham was also a captain, I guess. So that's a lot of captains. Even Chad Townsend in a pinch could have been a captain, maybe of a weaker team. I think he captained the Cowboys. We don't really have a bunch of captains in this team. We don't.
We
No, we
do we have
don't.
one? I
I-
don't think we have
I
one.
think-
Who would you make? Who would you make one?
Herotic.
Look,
He's got my
I
vote.
think we sort of covered this a little bit. I think it was SJD that asked the question. Maybe someone else apologise if it wasn't SJD. Who would be our captain in the next couple of years if Cam wasn't around? We kind of fell on Brayley. I think he's sort of the mainstay. He's on 80 minutes, barely misses a game. It makes sense. We've seen him sit in a couple of press conferences. He just needs to, I guess, take that ownership and run with it. He obviously is in a position where he can't really speak to refs, so we don't know what he would be like in that scenario if he was given the keys. In the times that Cam's been missing, it's been Teague to step up with the C next to his name. I'm not so sure that Teague's the right answer there either. He's a bit quiet. Could be a great bloke, great team player, and that's where that's coming from. But ultimately, I think that Brayley, especially with discussions of signing him another long-term deal, it's got to be Brayley, right? And probably
I think it's got to be
sooner
Nicho.
than later.
I agree. I think it has to be Nicho. We want him
He's
to take
the top paid
the
player.
game by the scruff of the neck. He's the $1 million man, and you want him to command the team, and you want him to go out and chase the win and chase these decisions for the team.
A couple of other things. One of the big frustrations from the match on the weekend was why were the Sharks unable to isolate Damien Cook in defence? And why was their decision making or targeting or strategy just not able to exploit that, Franco?
Oh, we weren't doing a lot of things right, unfortunately. And I'm not entirely sure targeting Damien Cook is the right call anyway. He's a pretty good defender, plays hard, and wasn't on the field for 80 minutes anyway. So I think, what we probably should have done was maybe target their young 18-year-old debutant centre with big, hard, strong running player like Ramien and belt him to next season. But we didn't. Instead, he gave us a bath, which is quite concerning, right? That is an obvious weakness. It's a new combination on the edge there, and he held us accountable, which is scary.
All right. Well, look, anything else to add, Lats, before we move off the frustration and annoyance of the Sharks and talk about how we're going to smash the Titans by 58 points?
No, mate. I don't know. I'm just fed up with Nicho at the moment.
And you want to make him captain?
Well, in the current team, if he's staying, yeah, make him captain. But I am fed up with it because how long do we need to stick the course for him to, to give us consistently good game managing footy? And it's when he's being paid more than what we're getting out of him, so a lot more. So I don't know. Is it a life coach thing that he needs? Is it? We know he's a fragile player. He doesn't deal with adversity well. So maybe he's not a good option at captain for those reasons. I don't mind Teague, to be honest. I'd love to see Teague in a couple of years as captain after maybe getting a couple of Origin games under his belt and getting a bit more experience there. I think he'd be a great captain. Even Nikora, I think, would be a good captain. But I don't know. I'm just fed up with Nicho at the moment. I've gone to bat for him on so many occasions over the last few years in the socials and stuff, and I don't know. Nothing seems to be changing. We get a good game here and there, and then it just goes in the back pocket again.
I think
Couldn't even run and score the try on the weekend, Franco.
Yeah, that no more fullback talk. Thanks. After making that break, not
Yeah,
able to go the
fullback,
distance.
yeah, it's done.
I think we've got to, with Nicho, forget about how much he's being paid. Just don't worry about it. He's being paid $1 million, whatever. That was the asking price. He was in hot demand. Dally M winning season. Face of the game. Sure, he's getting what he's getting paid. And the reason I say this is, if he was on 300k or 400k a season and he was our halfback, would we be treating him any different? Would we be saying, yeah,
You'd be saying he's a legend.
Would we though? I don't think we would. We're not winning games. Would we be making excuses and be going, oh, he's only 350, 400k player?
Not a
Or would we
premier
be
half.
saying, maybe it's time to find another half? I don't know. It's not
We'd
going to hurt
probably be
the
saying
book
it's
as
time
much.
to find another half. If he was only on
Right.
300,000, we'd be saying it's time to find another half. That's a good take. And a depressing one at the same time. We still love you, Nicho.
We do. We've seen what you can do, mate.
We want him to win.
Yeah.
We want him to be at his best.
We want all of them to
Best
win.
for him.
We just be better. Just be better, Sharks. All right, let's preview this Titan match, fellas. So the match preview for the Gold Coast Titans, kicking off at 3 p.m. on Saturday, is brought to you by Miranda Hotel. Get down to Miranda Hotel for $7 schooners and a whole bunch of nice food, including those chicken wings, as the Sharkies look to bounce back against the bottom-placed Gold Coast Titans, who I would call frisky. The frisky Titans, they've had
Is
some
that their
pretty narrow
identity?
losses. Yeah, I think it is. I think they're a bit frisky. And I like the word frisky. I like it when Lats gets frisky with me. It's one of the great pleasures that I get in
It's been a
life.
while.
With narrow losses to the Bunnies, the Panthers, the Warriors, and the Tigers, it just can't keep happening. So will they turn around against the Sharks? Who knows? The Sharks have won 10 of their last 11 against the Titans, but only one of their last 2, with that last close one coming into Coffs Harbour, if we recall last year. Another frustrating Sharks match where you're pulling your hair out. Fitzy has named the Sharks team, so let's just go through that. And I'll get Lats to take us through the Sharks team because his man, Mawina Roddy's been named. Lats?
Alrighty, we've got Will Kennedy at the back, Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo on the wings. In the centres, my man Mawina Roddy and Sisafa Talakai. We've got Trindle in at 6, Hynes in at half, Fanua Blake and Toby Rudolph in the front row, Brayley at hooker, Burns and Teague Wilton in the second row, Cam McInnes at lock, and on the bench we have Daniel Atkinson, Jesse Calhoun, Tom Hazelton, and Braden Hamlin ULA. And our coach is the Cat Fitzgibbon.
Just going to bring up this comment here from what is this Burjo Shark. I've never commented on it here before, but I'm looking forward to hearing how this one was Kafusi and Atkinson's fault. Well, Burjo, basically it's everyone's fault. It's your fault for never commenting here before, and it's look.
I'd put that on Atkinson as well.
Well, the thing is, you can say what you want about Billy Burns. I'm confident Atkinson wouldn't have dropped the first hit off against the Dragons on the weekend, so we wouldn't have gotten that. And then, look, it probably didn't help that Oregon Kafusi was injured, but Burgo, it's got to be Burjo. It's got to be Burjo, Shark, doesn't it? Not Burgo.
It's Burgo. So you spelled it.
Burgo.
Look, you've got to. He does raise a good point, though, right? We lost to the Dragons, who are a middling team who had a debutant player, a few injuries, and our team, we missed Kafusi, who a bunch of fans were calling to be dropped. We missed Atkinson, who a lot of fans are calling to be dropped, and Colhoun, who is a fringe player. You would almost say that's our best 17, right? According to a lot of fans. I think Kafusi should be in the team. But that's almost our best 17 that we had running around, and we couldn't put the Dragons away. So it is concerning, right? There's not a lot of excuses there.
Well, here's a suggestion for you, Franco, from Scotty McLaren, saying that we would have been better off running Biddle at the Dragons Centre rather than Jesse
100%.
Ramien.
She's very good.
It's pretty
A
good.
bit better off with Veron at fullback too, but hey.
Well, that's probably true. All right. Well, look, a couple of things actually from this team list, which I think is quite telling. Let's just chat about Ramien for a second. We'll go back up to Stewie Campbell's comment here saying, Ramien, if he's done for the year now, his season is comparable to the Knights year when he got dropped to 2 tries, 2 assists, and 7 line breaks in 20 games is pretty average from an edge. I guess on that sort of form, I asked the question, is Ramien actually injured? It's obviously saying it in jest. It's a good time for Roddy to have a look. He's definitely injured, but it's not a bad time for him to go out of the team, is it, Franco?
He's injured. He's injured, definitely. Otherwise, like I said, they wouldn't have put a timeline on it. They would have been a little bit more ambiguous about everything. The thing with Ramien, and I've been very careful about this the whole season, because let's be real, as mentioned there in that comment, he hasn't had a good season. He's been more rocks than diamonds. But it's funny because when he's missing, you notice that he's missing. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what he brings to the team, apart from his good, strong, usually hard running hit-ups, bringing us out of the backfield. But there's something missing when he's not in the team. It's just there's something not right. And it's one of those scenarios where you don't know what you've got till you've lost it. And I'm in that camp where I kind of think I'd be giving him a bit of a spell, bring someone else in to see what we've got. This way, look, it's a bit of a guilt-free scenario of, well, we can't play him anyway, so let's see what we've got. So yeah, I agree. He probably deserves to be dropped. If we've got anyone better than him is questionable. Look, we know Hiroti will do a good job, as demonstrated in the first couple of rounds, but it is one of those scenarios where, careful what you wish for. We might in 4 or 5 weeks' time be going, I can't wait for Ramien to come back. So
Stewie in the comments says we need to blood speed and refresh the assistant coaches. The attacker has struggled against good defensive teams who rush up for a long time now. We beat the average defensive teams. Stewie, you have never been more right in any of your comments, I think. But I think you're singing from my hymn book. Maybe you've been listening to me too much, because that's what I always say. But I'm pretty sure that's your fresh take. Some speed. And I don't know, Franco, going back to your comment about Jesse Ramien, I think if we have Sifa Talakai and KL Iro as the centres, I don't think we're missing Ramien that much.
I don't disagree, mate. And like I said, I pointed out his meterage because we know he does that, and we know he's fairly consistent at it. The reason why I mentioned it is because that's the obvious thing, but it's not, because you replace him with someone who does those same hard hit ups, and it just feels like something's missing, and I can't put my finger on it. I'll certainly be watching closely over the next few weeks to see if that's happened again. But it was, and we don't have Williams, unfortunately, who would have been able to tell us the last stint that Ramien had out for 4 or 5 weeks. If that was last season or the season before, and it was telling. We really needed him back, but leading up to his out, it didn't seem like he was bringing much to the team. And then from coming back from injury, he went from strength to strength. So you're right. I don't think hard running from our back end is what is missing and can't be replicated, because that's certainly something that we do across the park from our back five. But it's just some enigma.
I know, Franco, when Ramien was out with that eye poke earlier in the year, and we had Hiroti fill in his place, we tend to lack a bit of defence over that side. And without Nikora there, hopefully Billy's up to the challenge. But admittedly, Hiroti was injured at the time. He was playing on one leg or 1.5 legs. I don't know, he's just strong. Ramien's a strong player. He's strong in the wrestle. He's strong in his runs. I know he has been inconsistent this year. And look, he's had issues in the off season, having a baby born overseas, with trouble, and had to get it the baby airlifted back. Whether that's got anything to do with it, I don't know. He could be having issues there at home. But we do miss him when he's not there. You're right. And even when it looks like he's not doing his job leading up to him being out, we do miss him when he's gone.
I think the Sharks miss anyone. So to Zach McCall's comment, it has been a pretty horrid year for our outside backs. Not sure I can remember more than 5 games where we had Ronnie, Iro, Ramien and Katoa all on the park. Iro is a huge loss. Iro is a huge loss, but it's his second season, guys. So we should be able to survive with Sifa Talakai in the centres for, like, how many other teams have got centre injuries? Sharks just seem to not be able to recover from any of these injuries. And then Kiki Ren asks us when Stone Street's due back. Isn't Stone Street playing in the Jets at the moment, or is he injured?
He's back.
Yeah, no, he's playing. He's back. He's played for a few weeks, and he's named there this week.
As on the extended bench for firsts as well, but hasn't been picked because the 2 wingers are healthy.
We tend to have a surplus of wingers and not many that can fill in at centre.
Ronnie can fill in at centre.
Ronnie can fill in at centre, and also Chris Viola did a job when he was there. But
great support play, Chris Viola.
Oh, don't remind me.
Harley, thank goodness Harley's here, guys. Everything's okay because Harley's tipping the Sharks. Because Harley just knows that the Sharks are going to win.
Harley's making me believe again.
Yeah, Harley, you're doing it to us again. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't start doing that to us. All right. Well, look, we've obviously seen the return of Daniel Atkinson in number 14. Seems to be an ongoing piece of conjecture. Franco, is he playing this week? The man?
I think he won't, actually. I'm going to say he's not going to play this week. Look, what have we got on the extended bench? We've got Tapua, the Puru brothers, Jaden Beryl, and Vela. So I'd like to see Tapua sneak in, actually. It was one of those scenarios last week. I know everyone was cheering about Atkinson being dropped from the bench. But leading up to it, all of our commentary has always been we want the 4 forwards on the bench. Don't waste a slot with Atkinson as a utility there. Replacing Atkinson and shuffling the bench around to have Hohepa and Burns isn't exactly the 4 forward powerful running bench that we envisaged. So it's not exactly following our desired script. In this scenario, getting Tapua on there really gets us that punch. As we'll see, the Titans have a very big in, so it might be required to get some big boppers on the field. Otherwise, look, I've got issues with Hohepa not getting game time, especially considering that Atkinson is going to the Dragons next season. We swapped him in, and look, I think he did well, but imagine how much better he would have been if he was playing firsts for 15, 20 games throughout the season, right? Getting that experience running in firsts with the squad. I just think it's wasted opportunity to give these games to a player who won't be here next season.
Kevin, no. Why did you tell us, Kevin? Another milestone game. Kevin,
Oh, no.
Kevin, I like you, Kevin. But why? Why are you telling us that this is another milestone game? Sharks don't win milestone games. Well,
Look, at the moment, we're 1-on, 1-off sort of mentality. We got AFB's milestone, also Chris Vaya's debut, and then Teague Wilton, a very winnable game, and we produced that crap.
Maybe we should start keeping a tally. JFP quite amusingly comments that my tip is that Katoa scores a few tries against the Titans after finally getting some ball. That's probably fair. Jesse Ramien. Oh, sorry, is that you, Jesse Ramien, or is that you, Phil Bailey, who never passed the ball to Nigel Bungana? I reckon Atkinson plays this week's game. I reckon he gets a run. is what I think is
Just-
going to happen.
Just for
I
our
think we'll see
audio
Tripura.
listeners, just for our audio listeners who's now maybe scratching their heads, the milestone game is Fitzy's 100th game coached, apparently.
Might be his last at this rate. Love you, Fitzy. No, I guess that's the thing about. So let's chat about Fitzy for a second. You've just got to believe that Fitzy's going to get us out of this. And being a first grade coach, you are going to have those moments where you're dropping a few matches and the pressure is on. So you don't really know how much the fan base likes you until you're really going through a tough time. And so I challenge Fitzgibbon now, and if I know him a little bit, but I'd back myself to say and be confident that he's going to be working as hard as he possibly can right now to try and find a way to try and find that solver. And if he's doing that, then you're a very successful human being, Craig Fitzgibbon. Let's see you get the Sharks out of this. Come on, let's go. Franco, fair assessment?
Oh, look, I know him for a bar of soap, so he, as far as I'm aware, he's a hard worker. I would like to think that he's leaving no stone unturned, but that said, I don't think he's on the right page at the moment. I think he needs to have a little bit of a refresh and a bit of a think about what he's doing or what the players are doing. There's a few things there that I would question is decision making. That said, I absolutely do not want to jump into the coaching merry-go-round, and I do think that he's working hard to come up with a solution. I think he's got a plan. I don't know what it is. Let's see what it comes. If there's any fruit off the back of it, we'll see where we go. But yeah, I think he's our coach for the next couple of years. I'm happy to sort of watch what happens there. But yeah, I'd like to see him sort of reinvigorate himself and try something a little bit different.
Let's go through some of these suggestions we've got here, gang, in terms of the team. I'm going to work backwards to top. So Stewie Campbell says Chris Viella going to centre and Talakai back to the bench could happen. Talakai didn't have a great game last weekend in the centres. I'd say that's definitely possible.
I wanted to see
if
that last week, Boldo in Hiroti in at centre and Talakai back to the bench. I think that punch from Talakai on the bench we could have really used in that Dragons game.
That would certainly spell the end of Daniel Atkinson on the bench if we pulled that move. David McTaggart. All right, this is getting a little bit more left field. Trindle to half, Atkinson to 6. We need some spark. David is going to respond to that and ask or answer the question, where's Nicho play, David? And surely you're not going to say fullback because Nicho was pretty slow on that break the other day. Not sure he's the fullback.
It's
left or right out.
Can I say something in relation to the David's comment there with Trindle and Atkinson in the halves? I was thinking about this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and it reminded me of the 2006 season where we were winning with Dykes and
Someone.
Kenny, no, help me
Kearney.
out. Kearney, thank you. Winning with them, winning with Kearney and Kamali, but just couldn't win with Kamali and Dykes. And Kamali and Dykes were our first choice halves pairing, and they just couldn't get us a win. And if they were ever broken up and Kearney was in there, whether it was 5/8 or halfback, we seemed to get the victories. And it's just something with those two didn't gel. And we obviously know that season ended with 10 in a row loss and the sacking of the coach. It is one of those things that we did pretty well whenever Atkinson was in the team. With didn't matter who it was, whether it was Nicho or Trindle. They could. I don't subscribe to the fact that Nicho and Trindle don't gel, but it just makes you think. It just there's something sometimes there that's just not working. They've got it in them. We've seen them do it, but at this stage, yeah, the game plan doesn't allow them to play the way they want to play, I guess.
SJD in the comments comes out with Trindle needs to game manage 100%. 0% Nicho, but Nicho should be the captain. That's the solution.
I like this. I like it. It still gives
I don't think
Nicho a
Trindle's
place.
that good, guys.
Mate, Cowboys last year. He can do it. Just don't go out after it.
That's probably fair.
We've
and then
seen
Kevin
him tear
Coyle in the
teams apart
comments.
on his own. He can do it.
Well, he did do well against. Yeah, that's true. Kevin Coyle in the comments says Matt Moylan will be with his hamstring hanging on by a thread as faster than Nicho at the moment, unfortunately. That's probably true. All right, let's go through. Lats, why don't you take us through this?
Oh, I'll take you through this. I just had flashbacks of
It's not-
Peachy taking that intercept back in against the Warriors, but anyway, getting run down. We won't go into that.
We talk about Matt Moylan and Peachy so much; those two get so much chat that when I asked the Chat GPT, because I input all of the transcripts of these podcasts into the AI, I said, "Who's had a good season?" And it always thinks that Matt Moylan and Peachy have had good seasons because it can't distinguish that those guys have retired, and it thinks that we're talking about them all the time. So.
And Todd Carney coming out of nowhere and winning it for the All-Stars. But
correct. Still good. All right, take us through the Titans team, lads.
All righty, we've got AJ Brimson at the back, Jalen de Groot and Tony Francis on the wings, Philip Sammy and Jojo Fafita in at centres, Kieran Foran, the veteran, at number 6, Jaden Campbell, the future Shark, at number 7, Moeki Fotuaka at prop, Verrills at 9, Jamin Jalofi, who's an ex-Sharks junior, at 8. We've got, at 10, we've got Chris Randall and Bo Firma at the second row, Tino Fasuamalaawi. At 13, Cleese Huss, Regan Campbell-Gillard, Isaac Fasuamalaawi, and Josh Patson on the bench. And your coach is the great Des Hasler, future Shark coach.
Love Des Hasler, future Sharks coach. They got some fun players in this team, though, don't they, Franco?
Well, Tino back is a big in. So he's probably got a bit of a point to prove. The team without him, how are they going? No good. If he comes back and turns them into world beaters, it's a season of what could have been. He's also got apparently clauses in his contract that he can look to go to the Bears or PNG if wanted. So maybe he's looking to put himself in the shop window a little bit as well. But just
on that, Franco. Sorry, I'm hearing that the Dragons are making a huge multi-million-dollar play for him.
I'm not sure if he's allowed that. It could be. He's on a long-term contract at the Titans, and I thought the clauses was only in relation to the expansion teams. But as everyone keeps reminding us, what's a contract worth these days in rugby league? So, but yeah, he's obviously a very talented player, big, strong runner, pushes some size back to their bench, which means they're going to have a bit of energy and impact off the bench as well. So we need to be ready for it.
He's the leader we don't have.
He is the leader we don't have. He would be useful in our team. Well, you can see by his number what position I think he would play for us. He would clearly. Would he be the captain if he came to our club?
Maybe not straight away, but he would definitely be a future captain.
Yeah, I mean, depends on how long you signed him up for and who he replaced, obviously. If you did place Cam at 13, then sure, why not? Maybe that could be, part of the negotiating of signing him on would make you captain and face of the club, bump up your profile, and that's worth more than a couple of dollars. So yeah, that could be a thing. But no, look, obviously we can't afford him, and this is just pie in the sky stuff now. But no, he probably wouldn't be my captain, I think, unless he was brought in to be that captain. And I think we're already, big man heavy as it is. There's a bit of changes elsewhere we need to look at, I think, before we worry about bringing him in.
Well, I don't think we're going to have the money to bring him in, are we?
Nope.
All right. Not unless we can get, so many more super chats that we can donate all of that money to Dino. Yeah, what I've been sneezing tonight, haven't I, lots?
And get the Leagues Club over the line. It's going to be a lot of donations, mate.
Oh, goodness me. We can't fund everything, Sharks. I think we're up to $33, I think, last count. But who knows what number? We could just be making that up. All right, get a tip in. Lats, what's going to happen? What should we expect? Score?
Oh, mate, it's going to be a close one. I'm going to have a bit of heart and say we're going to win it, but I think it's going to be by about 4 points or less. Tino back, as Franco alluded to, is a massive in for them. He'll push them forward. Campbell's been electrifying of late when he puts the ball down without trying to improve his position like last week and had it knocked out, but which would have seen them win. But we saw what they did to the Panthers 2 weeks ago. They should have won that game, so we'll just need to get our trainers to run in front of Campbell when he's kicking. But I'm going to go Sharks by 4.
Franco?
Yeah, look, good old Sharks keep sucking me in, making me believe. I think Williams, off the back of losing to the Junior Roosters, basically put a pencil through us and said we're done. After that loss to the Dragons, I think we're done, but not without winning a few more and giving ourselves some false hope. I think we'll win. I don't think it'll be as dominant as we should be, but I think it'll be comfortable. And look, we've sort of joked about whether or not we make the finals. We had an opportunity to make the top 4. That was incentive enough for us to win. We blew it. So now it's a case of fighting to stay in the top 8, which, I think we're in a position where we should and will do. It just hurts now. It hurts more now than, earlier on in the season when a game is dropped that shouldn't be dropped, like the Raiders game or the Tigers game. You go, at the end of the season, we're gonna rue that game, and it's like, yeah, you will, but that's so far in the future. Who knows what's going to happen when they've got a few games to go, losing to the Dragons the way we did. That's the game that we will rue.
I think that's fair. All right, fellas, I'm going to abstain from tipping.
Ooh.
Not tipping. I don't think. I can't say it.
We always say we're going to win and we lose. So if you say the opposite, please.
All right, bugger it. Let's start a new streak. I think the Sharks are going to lose, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to break our hearts. I just think the Titans have been so close these last couple of weeks.
They don't want the wooden spoon, Boldo. They don't want the wooden spoon. Des doesn't want it.
They're trying to say
South won last week.
Back.
So
it just screams it's a bad time. Saturday at 3 o'clock. Sharkies don't like that time. Yeah, I'm super worried about us. We're only $3.11. Sorry, we're $1.37 and the Titans are $3.11. That's not that good a value on the Titans. I thought you would have gotten much higher value. So look, we'll see. I'm worried. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. This is the start of a new streak of me having absolutely no confidence in the Sharks and the Sharks winning. All right, let's move on. Let's just quickly touch on the NRLW team. I'll put it up there on the screen. And I want to just have a friend of the show, Jada Taylor. Where are you, Harley? Where's your tip? Oh, there's your tip. Harley's, of course, tipping the Sharks win. Harley giving us the notice that Caitlin Johnson-Green and Jada Taylor are back on the extended bench. The key news with the NRLW team is, God, they've been copped a bit of injuries. What did star hooker Quincy Dodd's out, which is a bit of a reshuffle for the girls. So what have we got? Brooke Anderson at hooker. She's not normally the lock. So that's not going to be so good for us. But they're back in the winning ways with the top 6 of the NRLW making the playoffs. You think we're going to scrape into that, but it's a injury-ravaged season for the Sharks girls. And unlike the NRL with the men's, which is such a long season, shorter season can really cruel them. It's so good the doubleheader down at Shark Park, isn't it, Franco? You taking the family down?
Sure will be. Yep, looking forward to it. Hopefully all this monsoonal weather nicks off and we can spend some day in the sun and enjoy the footy.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know if they'll pick Jada Taylor. She's in number 22. Just so many injuries, Lats, haven't they?
Yeah, mate. Look, they're pretty injury riddled at the moment. Look, I wouldn't mind seeing Jada Taylor picked and seeing Veron go up into the halves. But yeah, look,
Yeah, we're missing the halfback from last season. What was the name of the girl that went to the Bulldogs?
Preston.
Yep, Preston. I reckon
Yeah,
she's more important to us than we realise.
100%, mate. She can kick a goal too. We didn't get any of our goals last week, so. But look, the Roosters who won it last year broke our hearts. They are the pinnacle of the competition again this year, undefeated, and it'll be hard to see them not winning it again. But look, the girls are giving it a good shake, and I'm just enjoying the footy that they're playing. It's great to watch. I'm excited. I'll try and get down to the game on this Saturday and catch them before it.
Probably have my tickets, Lats. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to go. And just for our assistant, just in case she was feeling bad and thought that I may not put the Titans team up on the screen, there's the Titans team from the NRLW on the weekend. All right, lads, anything else around the NRL or anything else that's tickled your fancy? I've got to say, and I'll be candid, that Sharks performance just turned, I just couldn't stomach any other NRL. It was just hard.
Yeah, look, pretty bad, mate.
I want to go off on a bit of a tangent. I was going to do this last week. We didn't have time. We had to cut it. So I'm getting in now before it becomes old news. The Rebel League, the R360, turning on in Europe with a bunch of private equity and rich heads getting in on that to try and start up this Rebel rugby union competition. They think rugby union is broken and boring and terrible, and they can fix it by starting up a new exciting competition and sort of travel the world and have super teams all over the joint, which is fine. You know, rugby union is broken. Go for it, I guess. But there's obviously concerns now about them poaching players from rugby league because we have such a good group of talented players. Lats's favourite, it was Jai Gray, was rumoured to be getting offered $900K or something to join and sign up to this Rebel League. They need a certain number of players signed up before a tranche of funding is released to them to move on to the next stage. So they are looking at bodies to fill those seats. And it just gets me back to my gripe with Vegas. The idea of us going to Vegas and promoting the game in a bigger pool with bigger financial backing is not as great as we should think it is, because if we do somehow capture the American audience and they turn around and go, hey, this rugby league thing is awesome, I love it, they're not going to start following the NRL. They're going to start up their own competition. They're going to be bigger than us. They're going to have their own sponsors, their own teams. They're going to poach all of our best players, and we're going to become at best the Super League equivalent where, yeah, we watch it because it's local and it's our guys, but we really watch the rugby league in America because they're bigger, faster, stronger, fitter.
Paid a hell of a lot more.
Going to pay a hell of a lot more. If there's any rules they don't like, they're going to change it, and that's going to then impact the rules for the international game because they're bigger enough and got enough funding to fund the governing body the way we do when we change rules. We're just going to have to take a back seat. So again, I don't understand the goal with Vegas. It just puts a target on us, but whatever.
Not to mention our competition expanding and the talent pool being diluted even further. I can really see that being an issue if that does take off in America. And given the fact that I think we'd be a hell of a lot better placed this season if we didn't go to Vegas in the first place, I'm still bitter about it. But maybe I'm just bitter because I didn't go.
I'm going to respond to your comment and just say you are just a little bit glass half full, just a bit negative Nancy and a bit short-sighted on worrying about the Sharks and going to the United States. Do you really think there's a scenario where the National Rugby League of Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea is not the premier rugby league competition on the planet. Do you know how much of a stretch that would have to be? There is no chance that can happen. And before you go and say something, I just want to make this announcement that I am delighted to announce that Franco and I have signed with the rival competition, and we'll be launching a new podcast called the Can't Stand podcast out of South African rugby based out of Los Angeles. Sorry, Lats, you're out.
That's all right, mate. I'll jump over to Sharkcast or Fins Up.
You can hang out with Fins Up. It's no way that's going to happen, Franco.
No, probably not. You're right. But I mean, what is the goal? If they only need a small percentage to eclipse us. They only need a small percentage, right? The R360
players or audience.
Audience. They've got the players. They've got the money. They just poach all of our best players. They want to do a small competition over there of 5-6 teams, short, sharp, tawny. Away they go. They just poach all the best players. They start up a league, and away they go. They've started the US cricket T20, right? See how that goes. They're, T20, the way it works, they just poach all the good players. But fortunately, those players, it's such a short tournament, they can come back and do whatever they want with Australia or Big Bash or whatever, IPL. It's just going to be a scenario like that. If they want to do it, they only need a couple of rich investors to go, oh, yeah, what do you mean? A team salary cap is 7 or 8 million? 10 million bucks? All right, fine. Let's have 10 teams at $20 million salary cap, and we're done. That's all they need to
the
do.
NRL is
a 12-round season or something.
12-round season, good.
Caps, is the women's NBA a more lucrative league than the NRL, I wonder?
Yeah, for
what
sure.
What would be thrown onto the field, though?
I reckon it might be.
It's terrible that they do that. That's terrible. Yes, the WNBA is definitely worth more than the NRL.
Franco, do us a favour and name 5 WNBA players.
No.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, obviously.
Caitlin Clark and the girl that hates Caitlin Clark. Let's do RoboCop. Hey guys, what do you make of the Neil Breen story in the Sydney Morning Herald about how bad Shark Park ground is? Now, RoboCop, I did tag my good friend Mr. Latino to get him to put that in the Sharks news, but he's clearly decided against doing that because it's a crap story. I actually have been pretty vocal, and I say I mean really under the veil of the ET Stand podcast, so it could be any of us, but it's typically me that posts the ET Stand podcast, giving that article and a few other things a bit of a hard time. Look, if you don't want to come to Shark Park and you don't like it, don't come. We don't want you. So it's fine. Like, we love Shark Park. We love getting down to the ET Stand, or not having a toilet block, or only having 2 entrances, or having no leagues club, or looking up at the top of the Peter Beard stand and wondering why one side of the windows is really good and why the other side of the windows looks like they're stuck in 1967. I still don't understand why they didn't do both sides at the same time. And why are there so seats at the top that no one sits in? And why are some of those seats taken away? And why was it in the semi-finals that you couldn't sit in the back row of the Peter Burns stand? So many questions. I don't understand. Why? Why, Sharks? Why? Why is there a gym underneath the southern stand, right, when there could have been all the amenities under there? Don't know that either. But it's our Shark Park. I love our Shark Park. Get your filthy
It's got
hands
character.
on that. It's got character.
We love it. It's got character. It's got flair.
It's got a really good pizza joint. And, how good's the sushi train in Woolooware Bay? Hands off our Shark Park, Franco.
I love it. I don't want it to go anywhere. I don't like anyone who badmouths it. Yes, there's some not great aspects to it, but agree, it's our club. If there's anything that needs to be changed, is the home ground advantage. If we do make the finals and they say, yep, no worries, home ground, finals match at Shark Park, don't do this 50-50 rubbish. Just open the tickets to Sharks members, sell it out to Sharks fans. You're selling the ticket anyway, it doesn't matter. 100% Sharks capacity full, sold out, signed out the front. Go at it. We love it. Give it to us.
I thought you were going to say, and it shouldn't just be week 1. It should be week 2 and week 3. Oh, goodness me.
And if you're getting tickets and you're sitting in the back row of the concourse, get 2 for yourself because your ass won't fit in them because we were squeezed into them in the Roosters game last year.
Oh,
The year before.
that is definitely true. Look, what we'll say, one of the problems that the Shark Park faces currently with the amenities and also with the food stalls and whatnot, because they don't have the employees from the Leagues Club that they can borrow from, we don't have the same option for borrowing and putting those staff members on, and it being you work at the Leagues Club during the week and everyone's just on for game day, which is what Franco used to enjoy for 25 years or 20 years ago. So they don't have those same options. Having said that, there's a few things around, like the toilets are a bit crappy. I've got to say, I haven't used the toilets at Shark Park for a very long time. In fact, I can't even remember if I've ever used them because you just know just not to do that. You also know that the food takes forever. But we do love the bratwurst guy, but maybe the 3 seasons ago bratwurst was better than the current one, Frank. I'll say I don't mind the chips on a stick. So yeah, hands off our Shark Park. Leave us alone. It's always out to this actually builds to another problem that I've been touching on for the Sharks for a few weeks. Is once the Sharks have a few problems, like when the team performance is not as good, the Knives come out from the media just attacking every part of us. Oh, they don't have the Leagues Club. Oh, the ground sucks. Oh, they've never done this. And that's why the Sharks we just can't afford to not be top 8 relevant. So be careful what you wish for taking risks, guys. The Sharks need to stay in the top 8 every single year because we can't handle finishing last like the Parramatta Eels can.
It's almost like we need to be the underdogs and group up as a team and push on through.
Lats, anything else from you before I have one final comment in response to something I've seen?
I just wanted to know, Boldo, how you went over the weekend with your 2 favourite teams playing each other. We know you used to be a beloved Dragons fan, as Franco alluded to a few weeks earlier, until the great Adam Dyke sat next to you in a physio chair at Francis's practice. How you were cheering at the end as well, weren't you?
Oh, goodness me. Set the record straight now. I have never been a Dragons fan. Never was. Never will be. Bloody Dragons fan.
We know, Boldo. Stay with us, mate.
Oh, goodness me. Bloody people asking me if I'm a damn... I don't know.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Let's respond to this one. Chicken Party Boy. Has anyone, I agree with 100% with you guys, anyone had conversation with the CEO or Fitz for answers? Look, it's a little bit tricky. You think you've got this bravado that you're going to just waltz up to Dino or Fitzy and just say, why is the team so shit? But it does happen. Andrew, actually, my brother, when he was on the board, he was like managing the finances and doing all this funny stuff. And then just once said, can you just explain to me the problems with the left side of defence? And Flano at the time didn't really want to answer it. And then Damien Keogh said, no, the left side defence, that's a real problem. I get asked about that all the time. What's the answer, Flano? What are you doing? And so they did actually ask them and push them on the question. So, look, I probably not, I don't think I could bring myself to be that tough on him. Now, last time I told Fitzy that the attack wasn't any good, I got absolutely owned in Las Vegas. So I probably would check it out. Now, I just want to say this. I have a message for the Sharks Forever forum. Aiden for Noah Blake. It's not Adam. I know that you hate when I call him. I know that you hate when I call him Aiden. And I've been doing it for a week. I really enjoy Aiden for Noah Blake. And then I like the response that the guy put in because the guy that they wrote up there, the guy writes Baldo with an A, says Baldo mispronounces Aiden for Noah Blake every week, and then a guy, a legend SF, writes a little bit later, I'm pretty sure he likes it to be pronounced Boldo, guys. It's one of the great.
Boldo, don't be surprised if next year that Aiden doesn't win the Daily M's.
Aiden is going to win the Daily M's. That's right, Aiden. I look forward to Aiden winning the Daily M's. That's right. That's right, Sharks Forever. Franco, you're just laughing at that, aren't you?
Oh, just get it right the first time, Boldo, and you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, Baldo. Bloody Boldo, who is that guy? All right, guys, that was the ET Stand podcast. I am hosting trivia tomorrow night down at Sharks at Karela, doing up the questions. So there has a whole bunch of Sharks paraphernalia and stuff that you can win just by coming down to Sharks at Karela. So certainly get down there and check that out. And beyond that, we'll be doing the debrief sometime after full time on the weekend. Those Saturday matches are always tough for us, so stay tuned. Hopefully we're talking up a Sharks win, and I'm proven wrong as I have no confidence with the Sharks playing for the rest of this season. For me, Franco and Lats, that was the ET Stand podcast. Up Cronulla. We'll see you guys next time.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.